It's 2025 and I'm still using the Sony A7S III. And not just as a backup or for BTS or pickup shots, but I mean I'm properly using it. It came out in 2020, which by tech standards is pretty ancient, but it's still in my kit, it's still earning its keep, and I use it all the time. So today I want to talk about why. Why it stayed relevant, where it fits in my workflow, and why I still bring it on jobs. Let's start with the basics. The Sony A7S III uses Sony's E-mount, so it shares lenses with the FX6. That alone makes it practical. One set of lenses for both cameras, no adapters, no duplication, no friction. But more than that, it shares the same sensor as the FX6. I think this actually was the first implementation of this sensor. So image-wise, it's an extremely close match. Same dynamic range, same incredible low light performance, and same general color response. That makes it ideal for pickup shots or building lightweight setups that still cut perfectly with the main camera. It's also small, kind of, compared to a built FX6 or Komodo X at least. It's lightweight, discreet, easy to pack, easy to mount, and easy to travel with. When you're flying with hand luggage only, especially on budget airlines as I want to do, this is the camera that makes the cut. You get FX6 level image quality in a body that's smaller than most lenses. It also has full-size HDMI, which makes it even more practical when running external monitors or recorders. And something that's been really important to me is having a camera that I don't have to be too precious about. It isn't super expensive, it's robust, it's reliable, it's got really decent weather sealing, and I'm not afraid to actually use it. If there's a tricky rig, a high-angle shot on scaffolding, or mounting it to a boat or vehicle, this is the camera body I'd find myself reaching for. Not because it's disposable, but I'm just a bit less worried about babying it, like I would be, for instance, the FX6 or, again, the Komodo X. And having that mindset, where you're prepared to be adventurous with your shots and rigging, can really free you creatively. It makes you free to try the shot you're not sure will work and to take small risks that sometimes lead on to big rewards. And even if the shot doesn't pan out exactly how you imagined, you still probably learned something and you weren't spending your entire time worrying about the camera. Also, this camera is a hybrid, which means stills as well as video. I'm definitely not a photographer by trade, but every now and then I get persuaded to shoot stills on a job. And when that happens, this is the camera I reach for. It's quick, familiar, and capable enough to be able to get away with it. It's not a high-resolution stills monster like some of its siblings, but for social, editorial, press packs or thumbnails, it's more than capable. And again, it's a camera I already have. A lot of people compare this camera to Sony's FX3, which completely makes sense. I've not actually used an FX3, so couldn't comment from experience, but they look great. The audio top handle with full-size XLR inputs on a camera that's basically the same size would seem like a really nice feature to have. That said, if I had to pick one over the other, it's this camera's stills capability that pushes it over the edge for me. Mainly because, like I said, sometimes I do find myself having to shoot stills on jobs. And this is one body with which I can cover a lot of ground. Especially when space is tight or when you just want to keep things simple. That versatility matters more to me than the extra audio inputs, but obviously mileage may vary.
So, a quick insert. I recorded this video last week, and this week Sony's FX2 has been announced. Like I mentioned, I've not used Sony's FX3, but I think because of the shared architecture with the A7S III, I kind of perceive those two cameras to be slightly higher up Sony's food chain than the FX2, but I could be wrong. Let me know what you think. Anyway, back to the video.
Also, I mentioned this in an earlier episode, but it's worth mentioning again. Sony's Monitor and Control app, which I use regularly with the FX6, works just as well with the A7S III. Same interface, same controls, and that kind of camera agnostic setup is really helpful for becoming a better operator. You're not learning a new system every time, you're learning to think like a shooter, not a menu diver. It creates a great sense of continuity between bodies that are ergonomically quite different. The A7S III also has IBIS, I think 5-axis, in-body image stabilization. And when I bought the camera, that was actually quite a big selling point, but I found that as I've developed as a camera operator, I use it less and less. It's still definitely nice to have though, great for stills, and sometimes if you just want to do a quick handheld shot, minimal rigging, nice and fast, it's great to have. For all its obvious strengths, this camera is not without its downsides. No built-in ND, so you're back to screw-in filters or variable NDs. The menus are better than they were when I first bought it. With each firmware upgrade, they improve, but they're still not the world's most intuitive. The LCD is fine, but you can't really trust it for exposure or color accuracy. The battery life is decent, an improvement on the A7 series of old, but it's worse than the versatility you get with V-locks, for instance. You can rig it to run off V-locks, but I tend not to. That sort of defeats the point with this camera. So it's not a perfect camera, but then no camera is really. What I love is how effortlessly, though, it slots into my workflow. The FX6 is the workhorse, the Komodo X is the cinema rig, and the A7S III fills in all the spaces in between. It doesn't need much, it doesn't complain, it just works. And sometimes that's exactly what you need in a camera. Also, I definitely have a bit of a soft spot for it, because it's the camera I bought when I first decided I really wanted to get into video properly. Let me know in the comments if you're still using the A7S III, or if you've moved on. And if you've moved on, what have you moved to? For me, it's still relevant, still capable, and that's why it's still on my kit list. If you found this video at all useful, feel free to like or subscribe to the video. No pressure, it just helps me work out what's landing. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll make another video soon.